Hello, welcome back. We're here with Evie in World War One. I'm pretty much done the game. I'm just gonna go clean up all the trophies I got left. We gotta kick 50 people off trains, hijack 20 police vehicles, and yeah, I got some database here in log. Present day, we got World War One. Okay, First World War spies. Despite little evidence of their activities, the British public became obsessed with the idea of German spies lurking around every corner during the war. Fueled by popular fiction and tabloid newspapers, this paranoia overestimated both the number and the quality of enemy spies on British soil, laying blame on those damn Krauts for any and all misfortune. Nevertheless, espionage was a real threat in every country involved in the war, with military codes and advance notice of troop movements at risk of falling into enemy hands. In Britain, it was up to Scotland Yard and MI5 to separate the imagined spies from the real ones, the most famous of which was Karl Hans Lodi. With very little training or skill, Lodi was discovered sending telegrams to Germany using simple codes and at times even plain text. A real genius move, that. He was arrested in Ireland in October 1914 and executed in the Tower of London the following month. He was the first person to be executed there in 167 years, so it's not like he never achieved anything. 10 other spies would follow his fate in the remaining years of the war, with others imprisoned or executed elsewhere. Now we have one from April 1916, a letter. My dearest Emma, I don't know if you've received my last letter, and I hope this finds you and Harry well. The last week has been very difficult. We marched over 12 miles before we found the old trench, and almost right away, German shells started to hit us and shake the earth. Never was I more scared in all my life. Every night I pray for you both and see your faces when I close my eyes. Never forget that I love you. Terence. Lieutenant Terence O'Connor returned home at the end of the war. Alright, we got some assassin intel. I think we can look at it yet. We need number 10. Some miscellaneous stuff. The instruments of the first will. The instruments of the first will is a cult of Juno worshippers. They believe that we should go back to the way things were when the first civilization was around, which is that we humans should subjugate ourselves to the precursor race. I imagine it would be a bit like living in Arkansas. As we've just seen some Juno-themed cultists in World War I, it's likely that there have been Juno worshippers since the fall of the first civilization. However, I don't know that they were the same as the group that currently operates today. It's not often you'll hear me use the phrase, "don't know," by the way, so do make sure you enjoy that. Anyway, there is sometimes, but not always, a sage involved. Honestly, with Juno's digital consciousness out there, there could be groups of them anywhere. There was a group of them found in Abstergo Entertainment, Montreal, and I suspect there were some mucking about in Paris last year, around the same time we were. I've seen intelligence that suggests that the instruments and Abstergo have an uneasy working relationship, helping each other locate precursor artifacts. I don't fancy the idea of either group getting their hands on too many. At least Abstergo is the devil we know. Well, here we have the sages. Sage is the term used to identify the reincarnation of Ada, a member of the first civilization, inside of a human being. Ada was the husband of Juno. There's a joke about the binding shackles of marriage here, but I'll leave the jokes to you. Databases are serious business. From what I understand, Juno managed to manipulate human DNA, so that his consciousness could reemerge periodically, almost at random. What this means is a person will be born with their own personality, but they will eventually come to possess the memories of Ada. Most sages possess a distinctive identifying trait, heterochronia. Often the sages bear a strong physical resemblance to Ada and to each other, and to date only male sages have been identified, but we believe that there is a small chance that female sages could also manifest. My cousin Mark has 2 different colored eyes. We should take some of his blood the next time we're in Vancouver. You know, just to be safe. Sages are valuable to Abstergo because according to them, a normal human genome contains roughly 0.0005% of first civilization DNA, but a sage can have up to from 5 to 6% in their genomes. That doesn't sound like much, but the more samples Abstergo obtains, the closer they get to sequencing a first civilization genome and unlocking their powerful artifacts. Back before we could more easily identify them, there were sages that managed to sneak their way into the history books, like the dreaded pirate Bartholomew Roberts, and even a couple of Templar Grandmasters, Jacques de Molay and Francois Thomas Germain. More recently, an Abstergo Entertainment employee named John Standis tried to use their technology and a helpless fleshy volunteer to bring back his beloved wife. Do you think there's ever been an assassin sage? It looks like you found another sage operating in World War I, as German spy master, but honestly, by the looks of it, he wasn't one of the better ones. Still, when things quieten down, we ought to send someone to see if there are any of his remains left in the city. Oh, now we have some people. This is Juno. That's the woman we've been talking to. She just appears. She's like computer. Born, I have no earthly idea. What little we know about Juno is often taken from second-hand accounts. We first became aware of her when our friend Desmond relived the genetic memories of people who had come into contact with her in the past. What we know is that Juno is a member of the first civilization, who lived on this planet before we did. This race of people created human beings as a slave race, but they rebelled and fought a long war. Woo! Go us! Back then, though, Juno was part of something called the Capitoline Triad alongside fellow precursors Jupiter and Minerva. They were scientists of sorts, working together to try and stop a massive solar flare from destroying the planet. Only it seems like Juno was also looking to use the chaos to seize power and take over, and so she was imprisoned inside a grand temple on the East Coast. However, it seems that while in prison, she somehow transferred from a physical being to a digital one. She was able to reach out to various humans throughout time in an effort to free herself. And get this, we freed her. Us, the assassins. Now she's loose, a literal ghost in the machine, in the gray, as she calls it. Her description of living as a digital entity. Nobody knows what she wants or even what she's capable of. All I know is she's dangerous. She killed a friend of mine, and she's our responsibility. Ooh. Well, we've cleaned up the database, so let's go pick up some royal letters.
Whoa. Oh no!
See you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.